The long-awaited Valerion VisionMaster MAX improves in 2 key areas, but there's just one aspect that leaves room for improvement. Valerion made some big promises with this model compared to the VisionMaster Pro2, so the question is, does it really deliver? So in this video, we'll unbox it, get it set up, walk through the menu to check out the new features, then we'll test the new lens shift, the rainbow effect reduction, and see how well the improved black levels hold up. Valerion is currently running their Black Friday sales, so be sure to stay till the end of the video. I'll share with you all the details on how you can save the most on these new products. So enough talking, let's get to unboxing. Hey, what is going on, guys? Today we're in the Obsessed Home Theater Lab. Super pumped about this. So Valerion sent me the Valerion MAX. You guys know that I had the Pro2 a while back. Super impressed for a $3,000 projector. So one of the features I really wish that it had was a lens shift to be able to move that image up and down, because with the Pro2, you're pretty limited to where you have to place it. You just have to get it directly centered, so you're limited in that. So the Max has vertical lens shift. We don't have horizontal, but I've got Tony here. We're gonna get this set up. We're not gonna be calibrating this. We just wanna see out-of-box settings, get it set up, just get some initial impressions.
Okay.
So Tony, let's check this thing out.
Let's see if we can get two grown-ups to figure out how to open a box. Ooh, that's actually fancy.
Let's see what we got here. I got a little pouch on top, HDMI cable,
Wow.
Nice braided.
It's even branded by Valerion.
Nice packaging. Dang,
Is that wrapped in leather?
It's pretty heavy too, dude. All right, so we got a little line here that says cut.
Hey, aren't you gonna read the box?
It says Valerion MAX, Hollywood standard in your home. I actually like this. It's kind of a
I was gonna say, it
leather
is really nice.
box. Oh, there's one on the other side too. So you've actually got 2 places here, so we'll cut both of those. That's a cool package. Like, seriously. So the Pro2 came with a carrying case. So this isn't really a carrying case. So maybe with this one, they're getting away from the lifestyle projector, thinking this is gonna be permanently mounted versus, you know, taking to your
You can look,
like
they have
Outback and stuff.
nice foam on the inside, on both sides.
Definitely packaged well. Got a nice thick foam. Got some
That is a nice user manual. Look at the color.
instruction manual there. Very similar box to the other one. So inside here we've got a little cleaning cloth, our power brick right here, and then our remote.
Actually comes with a color manual.
So one thing that's kind of nice about that too, if you look through that, Tony, it'll show you that right there. So that's actually a cool graphic. I'll put this on the screen for you.
It says up to 300 inches.
So this can really, it's just got so much output. I believe it's like 3,500 lumens.
3,500 is what the specifications do say.
So we got pretty much the same remote. I don't see any differences from what I remember. You got some custom buttons for YouTube, Netflix, Prime, Disney Plus. What's cool about this too is with this projector, technically you don't need an Apple TV. It's basically like a smart TV. Has all of those things built in. Now let's go ahead and take a look. So Tony, have you ever seen one of the Valerions in person?
I have not.
All right, so I'm gonna let you kind of take a look at it. I've seen the other one, so looks very familiar, but kind of just tell us what you're seeing here.
Actually, I really do like the build quality, actually.
So it's made out of aluminum. It's got a pretty good heft to it, pretty good amount of weight.
Does it give you, oh, dude, look, it even has the peel. So for people that love to peel off new electronics.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. I'll let Michael do it.
No, you do it, man.
What?
Oh, hey, you get to experience this. You know, originally when I first saw this online, I'm thinking, it's kind of a cheap piece of plastic. We had a chance to see this at CES.
You get the back one, Michael.
And I was like, holy cow, like this thing looks gorgeous.
Other side, the little tip.
Oh, there is another one right here. So we'll go ahead and remove that.
Yeah, you can have a friend. Enjoy the peel process as well.
Both of us get to enjoy that. That's awesome. So on the back side, go ahead and pull that.
Look at that third one. You can have a third friend.
I love it. Let's go ahead and pull that down. So that's going to access all of our connections. So we've got our power over here, the SPDIF, some people call it fiber optic. Got USB-C 3.0, we got a 2.0.
3 HDMIs.
3 HDMI inputs, Ethernet, your power, headphone jack. We'll get this fired up. We'll probably won't go through it on this because I've got a previous video of all the menus. We're gonna update the firmware on it as well. And they even gave us some special instructions. They said to close down the iris first
I guess to 0.
Well, either close or open. I don't know what 0 means.
Okay, so we'll set it to 0, then we'll update the firmware to make sure this has the latest, greatest firmware. Then we're gonna get it fired up and we'll continue on with the video. All right, so to get into the menu to update the firmware, we're gonna go into Settings, and then go to All Settings. Might be hard to see, I'm trying to adjust this for you guys. Then we're gonna come down to System, and then we're gonna go down to About. The system update is going to check the Google OS, so let's go ahead and check to make sure that's up to date. So it's gonna check, and it says system is updated, so no new package was detected. So we'll click OK. And then we're also gonna go scroll all the way down to the bottom and go to Upgrade. So this is going to check for the firmware. So we're gonna go down to DLP firmware. We're currently on version 2.0, so version 20, I guess. But over here, update is grayed out, and so we do not have an option to upgrade, so we should be on the latest. We'll just check on the website to make sure. Well, we ran out of time at the lab, so I'm back in my home theater. I've got the Valerion MAX set up here on my seats. This is where I had to do the Pro2 last year when I reviewed it. So I'm gonna set this up. Let's go ahead and grab the remote, turn this on, and let's just kind of see where we're at. So I went ahead and turned my lights up to 20%. I want you to be able to see where the image is being displayed on my screen. And so I'll actually walk up here, right up here above my screen, it's being cast above this frame right here. And as you can see, the image stops right here. So ideally, we need to bring this down. So on the Pro2, we did not have the flexibility to do so. We would have to prop something up underneath the back of it to angle it down and then keystone it. So ideally, you don't want to have to do that. The great thing with the Max is we now have lens shift. So let's go into the settings, go into all settings, come down to projector, and down here we should see an option for lens shift. So once we click that, this gives us the option to move the image up and down. So we've got vertical lens shift finally, which is great. That's a huge improvement. And this will allow you to be able to more easily set this up in a variety of situations. If you have to mount your projector up high in the rear of the room, you can angle that image down using lens shift. So let's just go ahead and see how far it'll actually go. So I'm just going to hit down on the remote. And let's just see, I can already see the image is a little bit crooked. So we'll use another feature in here to adjust that and see how well it does. So I can already see this is going pretty stinking far. Now, ideally, of course, you don't want to have to use lens shift. You want to get the projector as centered as you can physically on your screen, but the reality is we don't always have that luxury. So having at least a vertical lens shift, that is a huge improvement. One day in the future, I'd love to see them be able to do vertical and horizontal, but hopefully that'll be in a new version. So we're just gonna get it kind of like right here. That's fine. I'm not worried about filling my screen. My screen is a 2.35 to 1. Of course, the Valerion is a 16:9 image. But I can already see the top left is skewed a little bit. And so let's go into settings again. And we'll go to all settings. Let's come down to projector. And we're gonna select auto keystone correction. Apparently that feature is disabled when you have the lens shift moved. So we did move it. So let's see if it gives us option for manual adjustment. And so you can see I can pull that top corner down. We can bring it up. So it's actually maxed out. And so we can't change that. So we're just gonna leave that. Actually, I'm gonna bump it down just a little bit. And honestly, that's pretty good right there. Take this, bump it up just a tad. All right, so now we at least have a square picture. Yeah, to me that looks pretty good. All right, so we're just gonna leave it at that for now. All right, so now we get a warning that says auto keystone upon motion has been enabled at the present. It's gonna perform an automatic keystone correction when the device is moved. Do you wanna turn that off? So yeah, I'm gonna turn that off because I don't plan on moving it anyway. So let's go over here and click turn off auto keystone upon motion. Now let's go back into all settings. We're gonna come down here to projector And let's do an autofocus. Again, I really like some of the automation that Valerion has done with their projectors. This does a lot of the work for you. As you can see right there, you don't have to manually focus it. It uses that test pattern that's built into the system to be able to set that up for you. Now already when going through some of the menu in this main screen, I've noticed a little bit of the rainbow effect. Not everybody's sensitive to rainbow effect. I tend to see it, but I have to move my head pretty fast to be able to see it. And so I've noticed it a couple times. So let me go back into here. Let's go to all settings. And they've got a new feature somewhere in here that's going to help with that. And that is, there we go, RBE reduction. So this reduces the rainbow artifacts in the image. When enabled, it will increase noise from the device. So I'm going to turn that on, and I'm going to, I'm going to use this for the next couple hours. I want to check it out and just see if I notice it again. Now, in addition to the vertical lens shift and the rainbow effect reduction option here, we also have an option to crank down the iris. And so with the iris, right now we've got it set to manual. We can come down here and adjust this. And what this is going to do is close the aperture on the lens. By closing the aperture on the lens, it's going to allow us to get better black levels. So right now it's set to 0. If I start cranking it up, we're going to see the image get slightly darker. Now it's interesting, when I go from 5 to 6, it does change color. So I can see right here, if I go to 6, it kind of changes to a funky color. So that doesn't look very good to me. So I'm just going to test it on 5 to see how that works. Now you can set this to pretty much an automatic iris. And so it's going to check out the image. It's going to figure out what it needs to do automatically. But again, I just want to kind of crank it up almost to the max and see if we get better black levels than the Pro 2. So now let's go over to a thumb drive. So I've got this connected to the back of the Valerion, and I have some royalty-free stock footage. That way my video doesn't get copyright. So let's go ahead and take a look and see kind of how it looks. I'll just share with you my thoughts as I'm viewing it for the first time. So first of all, colors are very vibrant. I love the detail that I'm seeing in the water and on the sand. I can see all the little particles. This part I really like, being able to see the texture in the rocks, the ocean. I'm looking at the camera. It's a little different, just slightly. It's kind of more green in my eyes than what my camera's picking up, but I think we're pretty close to the colors. But you guys aren't going to see exactly what I'm seeing. That's why I want to describe it. But definitely a very bright image, being, I think it's 3,200 lumens, maybe 3,500 lumens. So definitely plenty of brightness on my screen. So we're probably, I would say that's about maybe 110 inch screen, because my full screen's about 150 diagonal. So I'm guessing that's about 110 inch. So, but just definitely a very beautiful image. I would have no problem watching this and enjoying this on a 100 inch, 200 inch. This will even go up to about a 300 inch screen. I'd love to be able to see this on a massive, massive screen, but I don't have a screen that large. So skin tones here look really nice. So there's, looking at my camera, it's kind of like a slight red push, but I'm not seeing that physically on the screen when I'm looking at the projector itself. Snow here is very vibrant. The colors on the jackets pop. There's almost like a three-dimensional kind of depth to the character versus the foreground that she's walking towards here. So overall, this is, I mean, I expected to see a really nice image. Now, the color on this boardwalk here, this little bridge, is not exactly the same. It's more brown in my eyes versus kind of like has a red tint in my camera. I got to figure out those settings and how I can make this better for you guys. But the snow is definitely white if it looks a little off on the camera. Love the detail I'm seeing here in the bird's feathers. Around his beak, you can see all the little textures there. Super cool. This is a good scene here because there's a lot of small details. The fur, the whiskers, those look really crisp. So again, overall, just a really, really pleasing image. Vibrant colors, good color saturation, good color volume.
and I'm not seeing any rainbow effect. So that is really good. So I'm definitely appreciative that Valerion has added that, because I did notice it when I first fired it up and I was going through some of the menus. I could move my head left and right, or my eyes left and right, and basically you'll see some vertical lines of color. Right now, since I've started this video, I haven't seen any rainbow effect. So I'm definitely grateful that they have addressed that. So let's talk about the black levels. So overall, black levels look pretty good. They're definitely not, pitch black. You're not going to get an OLED black with the projection image. That's just not possible. But overall, black levels seem pretty good. I don't see like a raised, elevated black floor like I did with the Epson QL7000. That one had a pretty significant raised black floor, but this is actually pretty decent. It's definitely not JVC black level, but we're getting good solid blacks in this. So I want to switch over to something on YouTube. I won't be able to show it very long because I will get copyright flagged for that. That's why I'm doing most of the talking in this, because I purchased this video footage, put this together so that we could actually look at it together. Like I said, color volume is great. Detail looks really nice. Just a very, very pleasing image, and definitely very, it's just a bright image for sure. So let's flip over to YouTube, and very quickly, I'm going to take a look at one scene from a clip that I always go to. It's called OLED Test. And so it starts off really black, and so I'm just curious how the Valerion is going to handle that. So let's jump over there. Okay, so here we are in YouTube. So if you just search for OLED test, OLED test, you'll see this older video. It's a 2020 LG OLED. So again, I'm not going to be able to play this, but just a few seconds, but I'll share with you my thoughts. I'll probably just pause the video. So let's give it a go. But it's going to start off really dark, and then it's going to fade up. And so this is just always a good test to see how deep the black levels are if you don't have any measurement tools. Now, one thing I will share with you, I know my camera makes the black levels look a lot darker than they are in person. So I'm going to try to share that as best I can with what I'm seeing visually. I know when I did the Epson review, the video looked like it had amazing black levels, and it does not, unfortunately. There's definitely a raised black floor. So let's take a look at this, and I may have to edit some of this out just depending on if YouTube flags it. So let's go. So I've muted the volume, so hopefully YouTube doesn't flag it. But it starts off pretty gray, to be honest with you. So this isn't real black, and I'm just going to pause it here for a second. There we go. And I'll just talk about it. So at the beginning of that clip, it starts off really dark. And then it fades up to this cup, and then the orange, and then all the fruit around it. And if your projector or TV has really black levels, really low black floor, this is really going to shine on that. In this case, it definitely is more on the grayish side. It's not a true black. So definitely a JVC would have a much better black level than this. I'm not sure. I don't have these side by side with the Pro 2. But I've got all the settings turned on that should enable this projector to achieve the blackest that it can possibly do. And again, it's not overwhelmingly amazing. Again, it's still a great image, but the black floor I think is elevated quite a bit on this, just based on what I'm seeing in my room. So I want to see, let me back up and let me see if I can pause it and just get rid of, okay, here we go. So again, you can't really see what I'm seeing. I'm going to adjust my exposure on my camera so that it kind of matches what I'm seeing. So I'm going to increase the exposure. That looks about more like what my eyes are seeing, at least from what I'm looking at on my little monitor. So if you can see this, the outside of that cup is more gray than it is black. It's definitely, and I'll tell you what, if I zoom out, maybe it might be hard to see, but you can see the left of the screen where there is no light, and it's really black. Let me turn this up even a little bit more. Okay, so this is gonna be exaggerated by all means, but this is kind of what my eyes are seeing. Let me back it down just a little bit, probably like that.
So outside of that square, you can see that is the edge of the image, and there's more screen over there. There's more white screen to the left of that square. So you can see this isn't like totally black. And if I hit play, let's see if we can not get flagged here. And let's just back up. I'm doing my best not to get flagged on this, but still show you. So again, my apertures or my exposures turned up quite a bit. So it may look a little weird. Again, I'm just kind of pausing this every once in a while so that YouTube doesn't go, hey, Michael, you can't use this because you don't own it. But here, once again, you can see it starts off kind of gray and then that comes into frame. So I'm going to pause that again. Just take my word for it. It's not a super, super deep black, but again, overall, the image is really nice. One other thing I want to do is Jennifer Gala has an amazing channel. She's been gracious enough to let me use her content in videos like this. And let me go ahead and turn this back down to normal, because that is not what my eyes are seeing. That's just what my camera, it's limited on the dynamic range to be able to get the brightest of brights and the darkest of darks. So let's go over to search. We'll search for Jennifer Gala. Actually, here's one of her videos right here. So definitely check out Jennifer's channel. She's got amazing footage. She's graciously allowed me to use her videos in the channel so that I can show you guys what I'm seeing with these different projectors, with different TVs, and not run the risk of having a copyright infringement. So I'll have a link to her channel down in the description, so go subscribe to her. But I love showing her content because the faces, the detail, the brightness, the color saturation. So here's something that's interesting. This projector is bright enough that the black levels don't seem elevated when you have mixed content. In other words, when you have a bright part of the image, like here, the dragonfly is bright, your eyes don't notice that the black floor isn't super raised, if that makes sense, because there's a bigger contrast there. If this projector wasn't as bright, or if we're looking at a scene that is very dark. So if we were watching like A Quiet Place, there's a scene where she's down in the basement, and that is a very dark scene overall. There's nothing bright in the image. I believe that you would see an elevated black floor there. But when you've got mixed content where there's bright parts of the image and dark parts of the image, it looks really pleasing. And so again, I love what I'm seeing here. I think Valerion, they're really stretching the envelope of what can be accomplished for a relatively budget-friendly projector. Granted, $5,000 is a lot of money, but you can get into, if you don't need some of the features that this has, if you're not susceptible to rainbow effect, if you don't need the lens shift, then the Pro 2 is still a great looking image for around $3,000. But as you can see, this is a beautiful image. I love the detail that it provides. And again, so probably the one thing that isn't amazing is the black levels. But again, I think they're definitely very acceptable. I believe that they're not as elevated as the Epson that I reviewed, and that's a $35,000 projector. So again, just a great accomplishment from the team at Valerion. Now, as always, I'll leave a link to this video clip that I'm using from Jennifer Gala. So if you want to go check that out, it'll be down in the description below. Now, Valerion is currently running their Black Friday sale from November the 20th to December the 1st. So check this out. They're offering the projector, the Valerion VisionMaster MAX, along with up to a 220-inch screen and a small audio system. It's a 4.1.2 Thunderbeat system for $49.99. Now, as you can see here, depending on what size you need, doesn't matter. The price stays the same at $49.99, but you can get that all the way up to a massive 220-inch screen. Now, if you're not susceptible to rainbow effect, if you do not need the vertical lens shift, and you don't need quite the brightness that the Max offers, you definitely can save some money by going to the Pro 2. Still a great projector. Here it does depend on what size screen you have, depends on the price. So if you need like a 120, $29.99. If you want a 200-inch, it's $54.97. If you need a 220, that's $56.97. So you've got some options there. Then further down, they've just got some other ones. Maybe you don't need a screen.
You don't need an audio system. You can just get the projector at a reduced cost. They're currently running a special right now. You can get $1,000 off using Max 1000 code at checkout. So that brings it down to $39.99. And then the Pro 2 down here, you can see there's various options, $700 off, $600 off, and a couple additional options down here, just depending on what model you want. So I'll leave links to Valerion's website so you can check out their Black Friday sales. Well, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments on the Valerion MAX. Do you think it's a good fit for you? What do you like? What do you think they need to improve? I'd love to get that conversation started. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. God bless, and I will catch you in the next one.